Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. Today I am going to translate the Stripe documentation from from Flask to Django, because if you go to the documentation's payment tab and you go to the accept online payments section, over here, it pretty much shows you how to create a checkout button in order for you to go to the checkout page. And from here, you can type in your credit card information, and I'll just do this as like a demo. So I'll do demo@demo.com. I'm not sure if this actually works, but let me see. This will be tester, no, random. If I press pay, it paid and went to a successful page. So we're going to be creating that. But unfortunately, in the Stripe documentation, there is only the Flask version of it. So we're going to create a Django version of this documentation. And so if you are having trouble with creating this in your Django app, then let's go ahead and follow the steps to this video, and we'll get you started on implementing Stripe into your Django app. So before anything, what you should be doing is you should create a Stripe account so they can get your API keys. Notice that it says test mode over here. That means that I haven't actually activated my account to work to accept real life payments. So these are my test keys. So I have my public and my secret. You guys can store that in a environment variable, and that'll be helpful for using your keys for your project. So let's go ahead and get my project first set up. I have my Django pip installed, and as well as my Stripe. So right now I'm on Django version 3.2, Stripe version 2.6. So I'm going to create a project called demo, and I want to create it within my project directory. And then within my settings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few things. So number one, I want to use an environment variable, so I'm just going to import OS. And then in my templates, I'm going to write base templates so that I can use a template folder in my root directory. And then one last thing is I need to import the Stripe API keys. So I'm going to do Stripe public key and Stripe secret key. And then you guys can go ahead and add your environment variables here. Stripe test public post.environment.get Stripe test secret. Okay, so once you have your keys stored inside your settings, let's go ahead and create a file called views.py within your main configuration folder. If you want to create a separate app to handle all of your checkout session, go ahead and do that. But to keep things simple in this video, I'm just going to use the views within my configuration file or folder. So from here, I'm going to just import the generic Django render and redirect. So import from Django.shortcuts, import render redirect. And let's create a simple home page that we can put this button inside. So I'm going to do define home, an argument of request, and it'll render a request. Template name will be home.html, and we don't need a context. So let's go ahead and create that template, home.html now. So I'm going to do make dir templates. And what I did was I created a template folder in the root directory. And in order for your Django project to be able to find the templates folder inside your root directory, you do need this configuration over here. So make sure you have that enabled. And within my templates, I'm just going to create a file called home.html. And I'll just copy this and store it here. Okay, let's just make sure that everything is working so far. And before I run the server, I have to import my views into my URLs. So from .views, import home. And I'll do home, name equals home. Okay, so let's now run the server and make sure everything's running okay so far. So if I go to port 8000, I have my button here. All right, so now that we know that the home view is working, let's go ahead and create a view that can handle this checkout button. So whenever we click on this checkout, we want the button to take us to a Django view that'll pre-populate the checkout session. So whenever we click on this button, it takes us to that page. That page is going to be pre-populated with information that is going to be ran. So we're going to create a session that takes a credit card, and it has information of the item that is going to be purchased. The mode is going to be a checkout or payment. And then once the payment is successfully processed, then it'll take us to wherever we want. And then if we cancel the payment, then we'll just go back to our domain page or wherever else we want. And so once this checkout session is created, then we're going to redirect the view to take us to that checkout link. And once everything is done, it'll redirect us back according to what our success and cancel URL are. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our checkout view. So I'll name the view checkout. And what I'm going to do here is actually copy this right over here. And then prettify it a little bit. Okay, so now we see that it uses stripe.checkout.session. So we got to import Stripe. So import Stripe. And we also need to store our API key in our views file. So I'm going to do stripe.api key equals, remember we stored our API key inside our settings. So we'll import that in here. So from django.conf import settings. So we'll do settings.stripe secret key. Okay, so now Stripe knows whose account we're going to be getting all of this product from. So if I go to my dashboard in Stripe, I go down to this products section over here. And when I click on that, I click on a product that I want to sell. And you can create that using this add product button at the top. And if you do, you can put in the name, description, image, price, recurring or one time, and that's how you create your product. I already created mine and it's called Buy Me a Coffee. So I'll put this over here. So I'm going to go down to the pricing and I'm going to copy the API ID and I'm going to put that right over here. It says to do, replace this with the price of your product you want to sell. So right over here, I'm going to copy and paste it. So I can delete this to do now. And then I'm going to change my success and cancel URL. We'll just keep these two redirecting me to the home page. So HTTP localhost 8000. And so whenever a payment is successful or someone cancels the payment, then they can just get routed back to the home page. Okay. So let's make sure this view is included in our URL endpoint. So import checkout, and I'll create checkout. View's name is checkout, name checkout. Make sure there's a comma over here. Our views are done. And okay, now finally, we need to go to our home.html template. And over here in the form action, we need to change the URL that the button is going to take us to. So over here, I'm going to add this dynamically. So URL URL checkout, and checkout is the endpoint that we named our checkout view. Method equals post, and of course with Django you need that CSRF token. And then I think that should be good to go. Let's check out. Then let's see if this works now. So if I do this, actually this is giving people a little confusion. So let's delete this over here. You don't need to if you don't want to. This is just for demo purposes, but okay. Now we have this button here. If I click on it, hopefully it'll send me to the Stripe page. Oh, okay. Well, I forgot one thing. So now we created this checkout. We need it to redirect us to the URL. So I'll do return redirect, and I'm basically just copying this over here. Return redirect checkout session.url code 303. So checkout session.url code 303. And actually, if you want to try this, add this try and accept logic, you can. If you ever get an error during this portion, then it'll show you what the error is. But Django kind of already has like an error catcher, so I didn't include it. But now that we have our return redirect added, let's go ahead and click the button once more. And now we see that we're in the test mode of our checkout page, and we see the product name, the product price, and then if you add your, if a user adds their card information, 42, at email.com, do this, name on card is Django Tester, add this, and if I click on pay, it's going to process. And it's completed, and it redirected me back to the home page. And so I can see that the payment went through if I go into my payments tab in my dashboard. And at top over here, I see that the Django tester did buy it, the payment is complete, and your button is up and running and ready to go. If you want to have a success and cancel page, then you can do so and add the endpoint, and then add that to your success and cancel URLs to make sure that your customers know that the product has been paid or has been canceled. And you can do other configurations among that. That's pretty much the end of this coding session. I hope you guys found it helpful. So thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much.